I throw the hinge on the ground and look like a moron. Check out this sideboard China hutch I just made. This is by far the coolest thing I've ever built. Let me give you a little tour real quick. Check out this distressed barn wood top. Check out these cool drawer fronts with soft close option. Check out these awesome raised panel doors. Not to mention these glass panel doors. All these doors also have a magnetic catch. I'm probably going to be doing this video in 3 parts. I really like the way the top turned out, so I wanted to give the top its own video. I've never done raised panel doors before, so they might get their own video. And then the main video is going to be the entire build, but with less detail about some of the features. Remember, if you want to see all of those videos or anything else that I've done, make sure you like and subscribe to the Wood Doofus channel. I would really appreciate that, and it makes you an honorary doofus. So let's check out this build. Okay, now that I got all the legs cut to size, glued together, I got the edges rounded over, and I got the feet tapered, I'm ready to do some more framing. I'm going to do pretty much all the framing in a similar fashion. I'm going to be laminating some of this material. Most of it's going to be laminated just two boards thick instead of 3 boards thick. And if you want to see the tapering process, you can check out my video that I made of the narrow end tables. I show the tapering process in that video. I made all this square stock for the framing of the cabinet, and instead of buying the expensive stuff that's already squared up, I just laminated a couple of these 1x materials together, glued them up tight, and then I squared them off on the table saw. I made sure to joint one edge before I started the squaring process. I also made sure that all of these pieces are a little bit longer than they need to be so I can chop off the ends and make them exactly the length that I need them to be. This is the Kreg 720 Pro pocket hole jig. I just got this. I've been using the little tiny R3 for years, and I decided that it was time for an upgrade. So I'm going to be using this to make the pocket holes in the framing, and this is my first time using it, so I'm pretty excited. It's got built-in dust collection, and it's got auto-adjusting clamps here, and I've set my drill bit to the 1.5 setting for 1.5 material. This jig, it's got a lot of negative reviews from other YouTubers I've noticed because there's just so much darn plastic, but hopefully it'll get the job done. Hey there, if I'm getting in the way of the staining process, don't worry, I have a separate video that you can watch that covers the construction and the staining of this project. So check that out if you like the way this is going. But for now, while you're watching me zip around, I'd like to take just a minute to talk about the sponsor for this video. Barking Shark Creative is a great option for businesses that are looking to develop their brand through quality video marketing. Barking Shark is owned and operated by Andy Lindsay. Andy's a good friend of mine and is actually the one who commissioned me to build the project in this video. He's been a little bit of a mentor to me as I've been developing my wood crafting side business, and he even created the logo that you may have seen in some of my videos. Back in 1997, Andy and I encountered a rough patch in our relationship that resulted in several physical altercations. I remember he once threw me over his shoulder, at which point he used all of his ample girth to body slam me and give me a noogie. I answered in kind when I later punted him across the forest and stabbed him in the back with a stick. Today, I feel we put those old disputes behind us, and I'm actually much older now than Andy was back then. However, I do think I'm much better looking. Here's a side-by-side. I'll let you guys judge for yourselves. So check out the links in the description for Barking Shark's Facebook page and website for all of your quality video marketing needs. I made these drawer boxes exactly the same way I did in my drawer video. So if you want to see how I made these drawers, just watch my drawer video. But I will show you, to install them, I put a shim underneath here that runs all the way to the back. And I'm going to line it up right with the edge so it'll still accept a drawer front. And I'm going to put a screw in, pull it out, and put the other two screws in. So I have 4 doors here. Let me try that again. 4 doors. 4 doors here. I just finished cutting all the rails and stiles here. And the way I measured the rails and stiles was the stiles, I just measured the vertical opening here. That's all you have to do for the stiles. The rails are a little bit more complicated. The rails are going to have a 1/2 inch on each side in order to accommodate the tongue that's going to go into the stiles. So what I have to do is measure the width that each door is going to be. I have to add 1 inch for the 1/2 inch on each side for the tongue, And then I have to subtract 5 inches because all the rails and stiles are 2.5 inches. So that's how I measured what I got here. I'm dry fitting the doors. I put 4 of these little cards I found in my daughter's room. I put 4 or 2 stacks of 4 there to create the space on the bottom, and it looks like this one clears the top well enough. And then I throw the hinge on the ground and look like a moron. So the hinge is going to go like this. All I got to do is mark the holes with my pencil. I drill the pilot holes. Then I put a couple screws in. Okay, so here are the 3 kinds of doors and drawer fronts that I got for this project. The first one is the raised panel door, and this is the very first time I've made a raised panel door, and there was a lot of trouble and troubleshooting that I went through, but it turned out pretty good in the end. And you see on the back it's inset because the panel is in the middle of the board. I point that out because it's different on the drawer fronts. The drawer fronts has a different design. It's still a raised panel, but it turned out like this. I wasn't really planning for it to turn out like this, but it did, and I'm fine with it. The key on the drawer fronts is they have to be flush on the back, so I cut the panel differently so it would sink in flush with the back, and that way I can attach it to the drawer box a lot easier than if it was inset like the other raised panel doors. And the simplest one is the glass panel doors. I just used a butt joint with pocket hole screws, and I cut a dado around the inside to accept the glass. And I have these fasteners to attach the glass. I made a template for the holes and made sure they work before I drill them into the actual drawer fronts. I'm just going to attach the drawer box to the drawer front with 1 1/4 inch screws. I'm going to transfer the holes over for the hardware with the same size drill bit, but I'm going to need to inset it on the other side because the screw for the hardware only is long enough to go through one of these boards, not 2 of them. So I'm going to inset all the way through the drawer box so that we can screw it in. not big enough. I put a piece of tape at 3/4 inch on my drill bit, so hopefully I won't go too deep into these holes. Alright, thanks so much for watching the build of this sideboard. Make sure you subscribe so you can see the other videos about the top and the raised panel doors. I really appreciate everybody that's been subscribing. The channel's doing pretty well. I'm pleasantly surprised about how well it's doing. Keep up the good work. Let's all get some more doofuses out there. And until next time, don't be afraid to be a doofus.